Previously on Fractured Thrones.
Every year around this time, I keep having the same dream.
I just beat a man half to death in the fucking tavern.
The reason that she thinks you're special is because you know nothing of your culture.
With the relationship between a female and male drow.
I don't know what that's I don't know what that's meant to be. I don't know who I'm meant to
I
be.
haven't even told you anything. You're already doing it, because it's your nature.
She said that it's a world, a land, where the women rule and they use the men like slaves.
A life that I am describing is not a bad one.
She values you as a, cat values a toy mouse.
So, are you doing
You
this
just
for
need to-
me or for you?
You have more of the qualities of a drow than you think.
Like what? Can you enlighten me on something? Because right now I feel pretty all over the place, Sarah. I'm so fucking tired and confused and lost and alone.
Come on, just take my hand.
How do I look?
Like a snack.
Not bad. You're telegraphing too much.
Right.
Should be short and quick. We don't want to do big lunges and leans and stuff like that because then they'll be able to see where you're going. Quick and snappy.
That's okay, yeah.
Don't worry so much about your feet. I don't know where you learned that, but you need more aggression than anything.
Okay. I feel like I gotta relate it to dancing. That's the only thing I'm really good at. But if I just imagine it as kind of like a... just the movements and getting them down. Kind of like a dance. But also, probably shouldn't be using the same moves all the time, right?
No, especially not in a real fight. It's all well and good to think of it like a dance, but it's good for training, but in a real fight, it needs to be muscle memory. You can't be relying on your technique and thinking about where your feet are. You need to be worried about where their blade is and where your blade is.
Right. Tarek taught me 3 different ways to combat an opponent, but those are all I know in terms of actual techniques, I guess.
Tarek
I
taught
should
you.
really be, instead of using the... Yeah, he apparently knows... Well, I guess now I know why. But, he knows about fighting for obvious reasons. And,
Eric doesn't look like he's been in a fight his whole life, and based on how he has reacted to violence around him. No slight to him, but I don't think he's been in a real fight.
I mean...
Maybe once or twice. He means well, though. He's got it. He makes good points, but, you know, there's only so much theory can take you.
Yeah, I believe he's learned a lot of it from just, his upbringing, which makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be quicker, not as telegraphing, and keep my movements different every time, alright?
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. Again. Let's see.
Morning, Tang. You okay?
Good morning, Tang.
Your head okay?
I think I might have some blood stuck in my helmet.
Sounds about right.
Oh boy.
Hmm. You're still telegraphing a little.
Right, okay.
Much better. Yeah, try not to stand too close to the dummy when you do that.
Alright.
I don't want you to hit your wrist by accident. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just... God, I'm so terrible at this.
What's your offhand doing while you're stabbing?
This is... I don't know, it's what Tarot taught me. He told me to cross my arms like this as a defensive stance. And I've just been like, you know...
Well, the problem with that is that your offhand
sort of
is
thing.
in the way of your thrust. That might be better, if you
Like
choose to do
this?
it like that. Well, if your thrusting hand is in the way, and they realize that, as soon as this hand starts to move, they know your next move is going to be that. So if it's like this,
I
you can
see.
be a lot quicker, rather than it being a whole
Right.
double movement thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Shoot.
I had a crash, had to reload in. Sorry.
Seems like because when I cross my arms, I always just go for this side. It's harder
Mhm.
to get over here.
It's also the matter of how you're holding it. There's limited range you can do when you're holding a knife point side down. It's a lot of stabbing. You want to be going for the underside
Yeah.
or like that, which is telegraph a lot. You should, a lot of the time, holding a knife upright. Don't be afraid to do that either. Not every attack needs to be a stab. Quick jabs.
Hmm.
In Gradia, we
Tarot
had
told me
some
that
blades.
I need to be stabbing instead of slashing because a slash with such a small dagger won't do much, but with a stab I have to end the fight quicker.
Yes, a
So-
quick stab in, out as well. You don't want to leave it in there because while your blade is in there, if it's not a killing shot, it's there and theirs is still out and about.
Right,
And normally
yeah,
at that
makes
point you're
sense.
really close. Where are their hands? On this side and around me. I don't really have much way to defend myself, you see.
Right, okay.
In Gradia we had knives that came out through the top of your fingers like this. And you would hold them in between, so it became more of a punching thing than a stabbing. You see, it's a lot quicker, shorter jabs. But
Right.
for a knife like that, you know, short, quick, make it go for the points, eyes, neck. People can survive chest wounds, but you can use that to your advantage if you
Right.
injure them. There are several arteries in the arms as well. If you could
Okay.
excuse me one moment, I am not feeling so well. I can't even respawn.
It's alright, just morning yoga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very flexible, Kyler.
Oh, you have no idea.
Oh, was that a... Okay.
Morning. Morning.
Don't look at me.
He's, doing yoga, that's all.
Two for two. That's impressive.
I've trained since I was young. Or
Is it true
not
that
really
all elves
trained, but
train?
no. Not all.
Fucking what? These trackers. It was such an important part too. I wasn't even doing anything weird. You're right, they're too afraid to approach. Is my hip tracker not there? I'm so sorry, chat. There we go. I'll get back in quick. They'll never see it coming. My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Tarek. I broke everyone's immersion. I'm so sorry. I'm a bad streamer. Streamer bad. God, it's starting to get fucking hot in here, though. Never see it coming. Alright, here we go. I need to make sure there's room, because what's about to happen is... Double the pride, twice the fall. Please. Never see it coming. Uh-oh. Is that too loud? Okay, thanks, song. And just as I'm trying to... Okay. Ugh. Ugh.
I still can't hear shit. And I reloaded twice. I can't hear you.
Pepe hands.
I'm requesting off of Grism to see if this is happening in other worlds. And if it isn't, I'm just gonna come back and see if it fixes itself.
lad. You're paler than I am, and I'm a dwarf.
Yes, well, for certain.
I'm
Once you've got
funning with you,
the
lad.
motion sort of memorized, once it becomes second nature, then he's absolutely correct.
Sorry, that was an advanced technique, and as you can see, if you're not readily prepared for it, it can really mess with you.
I mean, to me, it just looked like you needed to go to the loo.
No, it was an advanced dagger fighting technique you wouldn't understand. It just requires a lot of stretching beforehand, and I've only just woken up, so you'll have to forgive me.
You seem tang about.
Well,
1 moment.
You two were up all night.
Tang's ears are currently hurting, so he might be back later.
Oh, he's doing the old recalibration thing, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Got ya.
Apologies. Go ahead.
Right. Remember, if your enemy is unarmored, the best place to strike first is right here, about half a hand's width down from the pit. You get in there, you catch them directly between the ribs, and you'll be able to puncture a lung.
Oh, bloody hell.
Alright.
Any higher, and you risk missing altogether.
Okay.
Any lower, and you cut into their stomach.
You have to be careful of the ribs, though. Especially with a weak blade.
Right.
You want to break it. Otherwise you are done.
Against an armored foe, generally this spot right here will be leather straps, and so you won't need to worry about the plate.
Right. Just the leather.
For flexibility.
Okay.
Kat was telling me that you were teaching us some techniques. I didn't know you had training.
I didn't. When you live on this street for your entire life, you learn how to defend yourself. None of this dancing around kind of thing, though. So our techniques may differ.
I've just been teaching us something for defense.
Defense?
If an enemy is coming at you and you have nowhere to turn to run, you need to be ready for their blade.
Aggression is the best way to deal with that, not fancy footwork and techniques. You need to gain mobility and the advantage. Put them on the back foot, and that's when you can dispose of them. Or better yet, don't get engaged. Exactly. Don't get engaged directly if you can.
What if they're the one that comes? What if they're the one that comes after you? What do you do then? Most weapons will outrange you.
Close the distance. Go for the weak points. Make it as quick as you can. Don't get tied up. Where'd you learn this?
And that's what footwork is for. My father. You have to learn how to fight with a rondel before you ever learn how to use a blade. Teaches you proper form and the fundamentals. So that when it comes time to use blade, you have an idea of what you're doing and you don't end up breaking your arm from an overextension.
Problem with starting with footwork and stuff like that, though, is someone like Kat's going to be too concerned about it. They won't be worried about where the enemy's blade is, where their blade is. They're going to be... When really, she just needs to know how to kill properly. To defend herself, at least. If she needs to. I mean, sure, fancy footwork's important, but it's not always the deciding thing of a battle.
I appreciate you both helping me out with this.
Tough times.
I wouldn't know where to start otherwise. Simply flailing around with a dummy.
Everyone starts somewhere. I'm sure you spent some time on dummies in the past, Tarek.
More than I care remember. The very sight of them brings back some bad memories. Long morning, sunrise to sunset, going through the same missions over and over, without stop, without breath, without rest. At times, I was not allowed to stop until I had collapsed. At which point my father would come outside, scoop me up and drag me in.
How does that handle you in a real fight, though?
Endurance.
I suppose.
And making the form second nature, so you don't have to think about it. You simply think of where to go, and then your feet naturally take you there.
Well, if it works for you, I suppose. Not my cup of tea.
I mean, everyone could use a little bit of footwork training if they're intending on using a weapon, even you.
I tend not to get into direct confrontations with people. I can avoid it.
And how's that worked out for you thus far?
I'm alive. You notice most of my injuries are in my back.
Fair enough. That's actually a fair point.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, is an effective way
It
of
does seem
taking
like
someone
the
down.
fighters, just different types of fighters, that's all. But I appreciate seeing both of the types of techniques. Well, I feel a little bit more well-rounded. Not that I'm any good, but it does help. So thank you, both of you.
I mean, you've only been at... even been out at a single moon.
Right, I know, but
just...
if I'd known how to fight, maybe I could have stopped things yesterday.
It's also important when to know not to fight, though. Sometimes a fight isn't worth taking. I'm sure Tarek agrees with that one.
I've learned that the hard way.
Just because you can fight doesn't mean you should all
Yes.
the time. It's noble, but it can get you killed.
Right.
It really depends on what you're fighting for, though.
Regardless of what you're fighting for, if you end up dead, no more fighting for you.
Right.
I find it's always useful to have something to focus on. Something to think about to remind you
Oh, I have
that it
something
is you
think
want to
about
fight
that.
for.
Those images never leave my head. They never will.
Dang, there was a dwarf looking for you.
Did they have a horned helmet?
Aye.
They're old dwarves?
No?
No?
Oh.
Particularly that
Don't lift
one.
your back foot so high. Keep it planted.
Right.
Push with your back foot, and then step with your front. Try to keep them at the same distance at all times.
You said to lean forward into my step. And put my weight backwards.
When you're attacking, yes.
Oh, right.
That is when you are deflecting a blow. If you're simply going in for an attack, you want to keep your weight centered. That is not a weapon that requires strength bucket. The blade will do most of the work.
Back foot planted. Front foot forward.
Good. It's very good.
How are you today, Tarek?
scared. Honestly,
I'd be too.
I'm terrified.
Well, we're not gonna let anything happen to you, Tarek. I know that isn't much coming from me, but there's people who have your back.
Even if you do fancy footwork too much.
I think you don't worry about it quite enough.
Really?
Really?
Okay, Tarek. My head is hurting, but you say we have a quick spar, see how we do. Best of 3?
I'd love to.
My footwork versus your aggression.
Best of 3? See how we do?
Sure, I don't really have anything we can use. I've left my sword at arms.
That's a good choice. I have some stuff, but I don't think we should be using that. What about some sticks or bottles around, or?
I remember seeing a few bottles lying on the floor at the barn. I think someone was been using it to drink.
Well,
might be something in there.
I'll clear out some room if you want to grab them.
Sure.
Okay.
Where'd he go? Ran away already.
He's over there.
Stab, stab, you're dead.
Oh. You're not wrong, you do blend in. Yeah. This way. We won't cut each other.
Okay. Do you want to roll for each round?
If you want, I can do that. Unless you guys don't have something.
I can roll. I will roll at a -2 for Kyler's injuries, because I think that's fair.
Right.
Alright.
Okay. Chat, roll a d20.
You roll for me.
Alright. 16. For Tarek.
Okay.
Clean off, try to put something on.
Got a 4. Well, which becomes a 2. Ready, Tarek?
Right. Ready, Kyler?
Okay.
I was wondering why is he hiding his head?
I can give quite a few reasons for that, but I'd rather not talk about it out here. It is all conjecture, but I from the night before.
Interesting.
Okay. Let's point one to you then, I suppose.
Your foot's too far. Your foot's too far forward. You had it in front of your dagger.
I may not bother.
Roll another d20, chat.
I'd like to know more information. I can tell you a little bit about it, but like I said,
19, Tarek.
probably not worth
12, which becomes a 10.
Good rolls.
Probably later once we have a little bit of time to talk.
Show me your footwork.
Don't worry about someone seeking us out. You for your
grabs your.
Unfortunately, how things are right now, I don't want to run into this.
Was that a touch? I didn't feel it. It's very hard.
We need a place to speak in private.
My house is always good for speaking in private. Nobody goes there.
Come on, where's that aggression you promised me? Feels like I'm doing all the.
Where's your back at? He's gonna grab your wrist.
He's gonna.
Like that?
He twists his arm. Puts his blade in front of yours. He's gonna drop his own arm down, take you off the side, and he's gonna grab your right.
He's gonna headbutt you.
Turns your own weapon towards you.
Ooh.
Nick doesn't go far.
He's gonna knee you and break the lock. Okay.
You weren't kidding. Oh.
Weren't expecting that, huh?
Oh. Not particularly.
Go on.
I see what you mean. That is rather terrifying when you actually get serious.
See how we go. He's gonna go low.
Jabs you in the ribs.
Okay.
Grabs your lapel.
They teach you how to grab lapels in your fancy duels.
I feel like I'd break it.
Chat roll a d20. Well, let's see if I can at least score 1 point against you.
Let me see. 14.
Got a 7, which turns into a 5.
Perhaps.
Oh my god.
Someone who
I'm
is
sorry.
made for more of your size.
Ooh.
Even deadlier than a normal one.
Ah, my foot. Okay, shall we?
Be careful.
He picks up some dirt. I don't know if you see that.
No, I'm backed up.
Your injuries
I'm backed
would
up.
have been more difficult.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't. You know, there's a fence behind me. You should really give me more space.
Whose fault is that, Tarek? Move around me.
Well, not as
Don't you fight best when your back's against a wall?
her physical counterpart.
Only if you're a wild animal.
He was just as effective.
To channel that wild animal. Are you the same animal or a different beast? You tell me, Tarek.
What the fuck does that even mean, Kyler?
He's gonna throw the sand in your face. Grab your wrist. Punch you.
He throws out his foot, catches your knee, slides it back.
Alright, okay.
You really want to try that?
Footwork.
Yes, footwork, I understand now,
But
Tarek.
timeless. But I will admit, I had to take a page out of your book just to do that.
You guys both fought well. That was impressive. Actually,
Next time I don't have injuries, we'll have another bout and see how we go. Tink tink.
Differences in your training.
Just remember that when you're fighting, an opponent doesn't have to be linear. Move around them.
Well, that's why I got him up against the wall, didn't I?
Can never be two.
In a fight with a dagger, there's usually not much room. You're lucky if you fight someone else who wields the same, but against a sword like yours, you don't exactly have the luxury
No need
of
to
moving
fight.
sideways.
Kill them with the first strike.
My thoughts exactly.
That's the goal, isn't it?
It's very common that engagements with swords or weapons don't actually end up being a long, dragged-out duel, unless it's sport. Typically, it's a few decisive strikes that determine the victor. Who lives,
They
who
were
dies.
simply sparring just to see
It
who would
was
win.
a few days ago.
They did it
Nice.
Yes, whereas
because
the
they were
David
talking
Blint,
about
he's,
techniques and
well,
differences.
I don't know if it was
I see.
fisherman or
If you are using a
They
dagger,
both
using a
have been
blade,
helping me
get
train.
close enough for your opponent to not be able to use their sword or their
But
weapon
obviously,
effectively.
Did you lose any guards?
But what you need to keep in mind is if they come at you first, they have the advantage of distance.
Probably it.
You need to figure out how to close that distance while also being aware of their weapon.
I have to find
So
the
that's where the
opportune
football
time to
comes in.
do so.
Funny. When you
The what?
talk about combat as if
Wonder
it's
if you'll
supposed to
give
be a
me
double
offers.
thing, like a tango.
In the real world, I would have got you in the back that time.
It can be.
When you were asking where I was.
It shouldn't be.
Right in the shoulder blades.
Probably not.
Well,
But I wouldn't do that to you, Tarek.
You
if
make a
all else
valid point.
fails, then your first
At least I know you can hold yourself and
out is
look
used
after me
where
if we get
elegance
into a
then.
prolonged engagement, though.
To make sure you're prepared to
Good if
become the
you're not
victor,
going to
as
get
opposed to
From the front, for sure.
relying entirely on the first strike of the first.
Did you learn something, Kat?
Very, very educational. Yes,
You
actually,
want a
I
higher wager?
appreciate it.
Copper
Both
says I
of
can
you
be
for helping
on
me.
your side.
And watching you two.
You would do that
I'll
for
have to
free.
take a page out of both of your books.
Educated.
I'll
No.
attempt to at least. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go to the surgery to check out my wound, make sure it's not infected.
Please do.
Not sure if you were fighting or drinking. Or
You've been
both,
up all night.
for that matter.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll find you later, Tarek.
Indeed.
I'll go for it.
You're right.
I'll be keeping my head
Sounds
down.
nasty.
Not really sure
Whatever it is, that
where
ails
to
my
go,
heart,
but
doesn't it?
Mhm.
They are
Feels like it doesn't want to leave.
Well, I
Fine.
know
Best of
Owen
you.
has his house open to
Maybe
you,
it's the same
so
as-
if needed, please go there.
I have a key as well, so if you find yourself locked out,
When she nearly beat me to a pulp with a log.
Doubt it.
Come on, Kyler, listen to your mummy and go get your injuries checked out before she starts crying.
I missed a
It's
lot,
a-
didn't I?
eh?
Yes, where were you?
Mummy?
I was out for a walk.
Out for a walk.
Long walk. Sometimes you have to.
Long
My dog has a little too much energy sometimes.
She pushed the mummy button. He's not happy. It was kind of hard to do that with lag. I'm glad we started like actually telling what was going on.
Important or known or works for someone important.
Or like a noble. Secretary, scribe maybe. Oh, she looks like a scribe. What's your business?
Oh, I'm going to the surgery.
That's fine,
Sergeant.
carry on.
Thank you.
Alright, get.
Oh God.
Piss off, knife.
Morning, Kyler.
Morning.
Kyler, if I may, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Your master, where is he?
I believe he went on an expedition.
Well, with the sickness and people getting hurt.
An expedition.
Apparently, I saw him leaving with some of the royal guards. I don't know much about it.
Oh,
Excuse.
very well. Thank you, sir.
I'll let you know if I see him.
Like when you sort your laundry, eh?
No, we still need to ask what she's doing.
Good to see you on.
Oh. Kyler.
Everything okay?
What's over there?
Oh. Hello.
As okay as it can be, I suppose.
What does that mean?
Sure.
Well. Yeah. I was more worried about you. but-
Unnecessary bloodshed.
I heard
Myself
pouring
personally, I'm not.
salt on the ground will help with the staining.
Like we have salt to spare.
Some of the folks here were scrubbing it. I don't even know if there is extra salt. I don't know the last time I had salt on my bloody food.
Oh my god, you
I don't
scared
know
the
the last time I had food.
One good turn deserves
I've
another.
had nibbles each day. That's about
I
it.
figured all the rain last night might have cleaned the courtyard a bit
2
more than
days,
this. I
right.
suppose not.
I'll have to find some.
Like I told you, rain only makes it worse.
Should ask Xavier.
Oh,
Hey, don't you need to speak to her?
Seamstress.
I
Seems
do,
we all do.
actually.
She's just running away. You, doctor, now.
Okay.
She did say something to me about bandages yesterday.
What is happening? I'm so scared.
Go in.
I'm so scared.
Oh.
Evening.
Good day.
I'm just here to make sure my wound's clean. It was at risk of infection the other day. I'm just making sure it's all everything okay. Mind?
Just stay on a bit and I'll be able to help you out. Somo at the moment is out of the office.
Not just from
Safe here,
beyond
just
with the goblins
check
coming
up
in,
on
we'll
me.
also be
I'm
dealing
going
with
to
the
check up
fact
on
that
you
the
when you're
northern
done here.
heat
Okay.
That's all I had to say.
Okay.
cannot be stuck in the middle of all this.
The king of the greenskins. It concerns me that a hunting pack's been spotted already. Someone told me about these
Miss Cal?
goblin raiders.
I didn't get any of the bread, but I did brought us back some fish.
They were able to kill one of them.
Yes. Us to make sure that it's been you just came in.
There has to be a settlement, a camp, or a cave.
You want to check on his
Something where
wounds?
the goblins are hiding. If they're
Well,
sending
you're
out
lucky
hunting
that they
parties,
have.
there must be something.
Please do so.
Well, you're lucky that they have forward notice.
Cat wasn't dominant.
The last time I saw anything like this, they didn't
She
make their
checks the
presence
wound.
known until it was
It's on his
already
back.
too late for them to respond.
There's one of the stitches has been busted, but
Tang, I barely see.
it's up to you if it needs cleaning or whatnot.
Waiting for all of this to happen.
Well, I have a wet rag and I will clean it.
For our numbers to dwindle so that they can take over.
How's it look?
Well, they're certainly all.
I will be outside.
It does not look too good. Your stitches need to be restitched. You pulled yourself too much.
I fell. I was climbing something last night and I fell.
The reason we can't
That might have happened.
hunters can't seem to find very many animals might be because
Well,
that's
with
what
this
the
kind of
goblins
job,
are
it'd more be so much.
doing.
Just get out of the
They
door.
may be killing the animals so that we don't have food, so that we eventually starve, so that they can move
I
in
was
and
already
take
told
over.
that's what animals they did find. One of them was practically a trap set for them. They had managed to get it to such a way where they were able to pull them back into the woods, into the waiting
That means it-
maw.
That means that they've got scouts that have already been.
You motherfuckers don't know what Kyler is. If he's a bottom or a top.
Who knows for how long?
He acts a certain way depending on who he's talking to.
I think you're going out into the woods, lad. Do not go alone. She will not go alone.
Ah, I see. All right then.
No, you need a party.
I feel like I come here every day.
Hunting, you need to create a party. Because otherwise,
Everyone does.
You're going to get ambushed, and there'll be no one to help you.
It's become common.
Honestly, you should.
How are you feeling? Weren't you really sick the other day?
I'm not going anywhere, but for the other hunters, Baylor.
She's still a
Feeling
little
sick
bit weak
last
to
night,
her
but I'm
stomach,
still
however,
trying to
she is
recover.
feeling better.
I'm glad to hear it.
By the way, you said something.
All right. Do me a favor.
Anywhere.
Sit still. You're going to feel a slight couple pinches, but you should be fine.
Okay.
Sure, he'll be fine. Seems more stubborn than he lets on.
Does it need
The other
cleaning?
wound on your back seems to be healing quite well.
The other wound?
Anyone else probably would have died from the injuries you sustained, and here you are making jokes.
Seems to be another mark on your back.
Oh, that's a scar from a
Believe
while
I
ago.
fixed that up.
Minutes ago,
Before I showed up here.
the guard wanted to recruit me. You're in the States.
You would see that it's pretty old.
Can I not just like take
Have to
the
recruit
stick
everyone.
or something?
Yes,
All right.
Now, why
Well
would anyone
then,
want to even work with them after what
let me
they
clean that
were
wound
willing
up.
to do if you
Appreciate it.
them the other day.
I just
Let me go in there. Some.
Because of the amount of people that have
Someone, do we
passed.
have an extra stick for the?
I have a sneaking suspicion the reason they are
I
trying
believe
this
there's another one of those
exercise
sticks
is
right outside
They're
my
worried about the
workplace in
numbers
the
that they
cabin,
have.
the little shed.
Maybe they should have thought about that before you.
There's a couple of
you
sticks
start
that I have out
feeling
there just in
more
case if
than
there's
who had
anything that-
instigated that riot the other day.
I want to make sure that
I don't want to lose my needle.
They had punished only those who had started it.
All right.
It would be one thing, but there were those
Stand still. It is going to sting a bit.
I'll make sure for you. I'll be right back.
I don't think it's just that.
I mean, you could also just.
I think I'd be used to this kind of stuff by now.
Here and there of Actually, many of the armies around here.
Everyone here in Gledford thinks that. But in truth, pain is more than they think.
That's very insightful.
Stop piling food. It is true, though.
Keeping as much food as they can get in, so that they can.
Without pain, what is there with caution?
Where is the enemy?
Here we are.
Thank you.
Now then, let me see if I can bandage that up a little bit just to make sure that the.
Finally, we even had that visitor from the Empire practically.
We only need a few. Lift your arms up quickly. Here we are.
The trouble already just being among us, and it's the fact of the matter is that man.
There we are.
That's a better job than I did. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Mainly because
you're welcome, Kyler. Always.
I enjoy your company, but I try to avoid showing up here as long as I can.
It's not the normal.
You cannot help it. It is dangerous here now at Castle Ledford.
You're telling me.
Monsters out of the ordinary. Goblins with lizard creatures as their pets, as their riders. So many other things come running around and about here.
You must see it all, huh?
Keep your eye on him. I haven't seen it though. I've seen all the injuries, the infections, the sicknesses. Some of them I see, but a few of them I do not understand. I feel like that there's one that I do not understand that lurks within Ledford. However, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I can create several kinds of mixtures which could be able to help the bodies of others heal up faster than you can gain 5 silver.
There's Nicholas. Nicholas is fine, he's sleeping. A certain blacksmith want me to say hello to you and see how you were faring.
Relatively soon. Thank you.
I'd heard about what happened outside. Wanted to make sure you and Faye were all right. Sorry, you are Faye. See, I think I took a couple of rocks to the head down there.
I think you took more than that.
Surprised you had.
Fish is right here. I wanted to make sure you were all right, lass.
You need to get a measurement.
The golden-haired lassie came in and she was unconsolable.
Well, so far I've been healing just fine, and
healing.
Healing.
What happened?
Yes, one of the guardsmen decided to take a club to my leg a couple of days ago. While you were away. It's fine. It's healing now. And plus I have Lady Liddell. She's been looking after me from time to time. So.
Not really
Time, my name seems to change.
just something tight and fitting.
It's Ian though.
Indel?
Lindell.
I feel like that's close enough.
It doesn't start with an L.
Indel. Oh, I thank you because I didn't know your name, lass. So
it's all right. I am simply
Her whispers are too powerful, so it's hard for me to pronounce the name.
I don't know what you're talking about because I don't whisper to you at all.
I'm glad to see that you're all right, lass.
I took the liberty of...
If you start having any more trouble with the guard, let us know.
I will.
Yes. How's Cat handling it? Because I know
By all
yesterday
means.
she was...
I hadn't seen her all day.
She's been out training.
I've seen her with
training.
I've seen him out with Tarek.
Tarek and myself have been showing her
And this is-
basic dagger skills in case she needs them.
Oh.
She's very worried. Hasn't been sleeping. I stayed up with her all night.
We'll watch
You
over
think
her.
you might
She
be
was
able to
very
whip some-
traumatized.
That's why I stayed up with her all night.
And then you may be able to whip something out to help the lass sleep.
I can most certainly try, but if it's a matter of worries of the heart or worries of the mind, it's not so much if it was a matter of physical issues. That'd be one
It's more
thing.
worries of the mind. It seems like the way she looked at me blankly the other day from all the traumatization. I don't think it's. I think it's more mentally.
To some degree, I don't even know if it's my counsel that she'd want, because
I'm doing my best.
truth be told, as much as I hate to see it, it's also something I've grown numb to. You see it enough times and eventually it just becomes one big blur.
That might be why.
It doesn't make me feel like it's not a gesture of futility every time they do it, or that they don't understand what it is they mess with, but they wouldn't listen to me even if I were to tell them this. And I'm not sure if Kat would really appreciate that perspective.
She was inconsolable when she came in here. I remember seeing her over there and being in tears, practically collapsed. Poor thing.
She already seems a bit cross with me for my reaction because I didn't have the same tears, as I've long ago lost the capacity to cry for death.
Oh, that's quite dark.
You see, I mean, when you've seen many people who you would otherwise feel attached to live and die, while you seem to live on without any sign of stopping it, eventually you just have to grow used to it, while you live a miserable existence.
Indeed.
Well,
I don't recall the last time I've actually had bonds to anybody, but here
How
I
are you
am
holding
doing
up,
that
lad?
again.
got some new cuts. Check this out. But I'm okay.
I'm sorry I wasn't quick enough, lad.
It's fine. Awen jumped down and... Ow. Awen jumped down and helped me out. You're fine. I'm more worried about you.
Anyone fought down there?
He did. I was surprised too.
I would have.
From what I
Hate to
heard,
see that.
everyone who went down there fought. Even the ones who you wouldn't expect to.
Well, I have to get going. I have to get some bread made for the tavern. I gotta talk to Xavier and the captain to see if I can get it done.
I'd heard that the tavern had been given food, barley, I believe it was.
Well, we do have
I
some
didn't
grain.
get told how much.
And we did get some fruit in. Some crates of fruit from.
Who's this hooded man walking in here? Oh, it's you, Tarek. I didn't notice you with the hat on. You okay? Oh!
I just came to see.
It's you.
What?
Oh. Oh no, he's gone again. I thought I saw Tarek.
Can't. Don't scare me like that, goodness.
I was
Why
just
are you wearing a hood like that?
It was rained yesterday. I just thought, best be prepared. Well, anything.
Have you seen how silky soft his hair
You know how
is?
it is.
That gets dirty or wet, it's a nightmare, I assume.
I have, but I'm more concerned about the detail that I know he's not telling me.
I know what you're talking about.
By the way,
I've
I'm here
overheard
to
the
see.
conversations that they were having about you. That visitor last night.
Pretty much gone. I'm just really sore on both the leg and the arm.
I know they were talking about you.
it is to be expected. I'm glad you are
Besides, I'm not.
just about fully recovered.
Jeez.
Still standing.
Luckily, I think some of my
I-
I'm not.
What of it?
I'm not on their side. I just want to know what it is that they want with you to the point that they're willing to look this far for you.
I try and keep running.
Don't run too much now.
And more importantly, if there's anything that can be done to ensure that they don't get what they're looking for.